Have you ever followed your intuition and felt like you did the wrong thing? If you have been working on shifting your identity, if you have been working on creating your own reality, your life, you probably relate to this feeling of being in moments in our lives where we know we followed our intuition, that inner guidance, our hearts, and then we are in situations where we are like, this is so painful, this is so challenging. We start doubting that our intuition brought us to these places. And I'm super happy that you are in this video if you have been experiencing something similar, because I want to acknowledge and I want to remind you that that's how it is a lot of the times when we follow our intuition. Following our intuition does not mean that it's always going to feel good or that it's always going to guide us into magical, wonderful experiences. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it has to feel that way. A lot of the times it takes us into deep and very challenging places. I am back in San Francisco, so this is the sound of the city. I think if you go back in my videos, a lot of the videos that I recorded here in San Francisco, there's that sound in the back. So welcome back to another video. If you have been following my channel, if you have been watching my videos, you probably know that I am starting a business guided by my intuition, and today is going to be a little tender and raw, since I am right in the middle of a very deep transformation. I honestly was avoiding, and I had a lot of resistance to come up here and share a little bit of what's happening, but there's always this feeling in my heart that at the same time I might be going through this experience, there's maybe a few other people that don't have the tools, don't know what's happening, don't know how to interpret and navigate what they're experiencing. And that always inspires me to come up here and share what I'm experiencing, how I'm navigating these moments, and the magic and all the opportunities there are on the other side of these experiences. So yeah, welcome back to this video. And I want to share a little bit of what's presented in my life, but I want to go back to this idea of how following our hearts work. A lot of the times, especially when we are so committed to create the lives we desire, when we have been unpacking the things that have been stopping us from being the person we want to be, to experience the life, the levels of life that we desire to experience. There's, I think there are many ways how we can describe and interpret these things, but I think I share in my video that I'm tired of using the word of healing. But yeah, there's it's part of what we gotta do, what we are invited to do in order to live life, experience life at its fullest. And I am a fan, I am a believer that it's the healing process. It's not something that we need to do every single day of our lives. That's addictive. A lot of people stay in that space. I think there are moments, especially when we enter in the space of spirituality and self-discovery. I think for some people can be 6 months. The first period of time requires that we do a little bit of the healing, that we meet all those parts of ourselves that haven't been seen, haven't been heard. You guys probably, if you are hearing this video, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So there's always that period where it does require that attention and investment in doing the healing process. But then we can just go in life and continue doing life. And what happens, usually it's what I am experiencing and what I'm assuming you are experiencing if you are in this video as well. And it's the life, once we start working with life, creating with life, being that version of ourselves that we want to be, life has its way, a magical, very beautiful way of start putting us in situations, places, dynamics, where a lot of the times we're invited to do a little bit more healing. Sometimes it's very spontaneous, like what I'm experiencing and what I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be experiencing this year, or might be experiencing already this year. Energetically, in the spirituality, the people that I follow, and I'm sure you're familiar with this idea too, this I don't know if we can say prediction, but vision for this year. There's gonna be a lot of changes, some of those changes that will require a lot of adaptability, require us to adapt quickly. So my heart is with you. It's gonna be a very interesting year. I'm sure at the end of the year we're gonna look back and we're gonna feel very different people. So my experience, just to start sharing a little bit more of what's happening, by following my intuition, by following those vivid images of the feelings and the things I wanted, I was invited to revisit a place that I never thought I wanted to revisit again. And that place is San Francisco. Yes, 8 months ago I was living in this city, and the whole process of coming back to the city, when I was on the plane, when I got out of the plane, it was like shocking. My body started, like, I still, my face and parts of my body are still kind of going through something crazy, you know. Like, if you are in this space of spirituality, you know that a lot of us sensitive humans can experience these kind of things. The energy of San Francisco is very potent and strong for me. I was curious. I was very curious. It was only for me, or if it was, if we can say that there's a general energy in the city that can feel strong for a lot of people. So based in astrology, I think on one of my last videos I shared that there's a Pluto energy, Pluto line that it activates for a lot of us, but I don't think for everyone. So I was like, okay, if we don't look into astrology, just in general, I was having this conversation with ChatGPT. I was like, okay, if we could say that each city, country, place in the world has its own energy, how can we describe the energy of San Francisco? And I think now that I'm sharing this, I might want to share with you guys the whole description that ChatGPT gave me. And I want to say that I'm gonna be sharing more stuff about ChatGPT, the way I've been using it, but a little disclaimer, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, we are just playing around with ChatGPT, and I think we need to bring a lot of awareness. I always like to keep, I say this in Spanish, I don't know if this makes sense in English, but I like to keep one foot out of the equation of this game with ChatGPT. It's super helpful, and I value so much of what I have been able to do with ChatGPT, but you need to work with it. You need to bring your awareness and your presence. Every single day, I never feel like it does it all for me. If I don't bring my awareness and my knowledge and my experience, it's that it doesn't do it. I hope you are understanding, following what I'm saying. So yeah, it was just a co-creation, if we can say, something that we created together based on my perspective, my experience. I named a couple of books or people that talk about the subjects of the energy of the cities, and then we created this whole description. I'm going right now in a different direction. We will come back to the subject of following our intuition and what can happen a lot of the times when our intuition take us into challenging situations. So the interesting thing, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to relate with it, is I'm sure you have heard that some people go to Paris and they feel like, oh my God, it's the most romantic city, and they are in this energy, vibrancy of love and romance the whole time they're there. And some other people are like, yeah, it looks very pretty, and you can see a lot of people kissing here and there, but then my experience was that everyone was rude to me or things like that, right? So like ChatGPT, how does this happen? Like it is true that there's one general energy in these places. How come some people? Same thing with India. I feel like Paris and India are two of the places that I have heard the most. That every person has a different experience. I have heard from people that they have had the most transformative spiritual experience in India, and other people that have been like, that's a very intense energy for me. Anyway, so based on all these things that I have heard and I've been collecting, again, this is me with ChatGPT, my perspective. That's something that I think, that's what I'm trying to explain. ChatGPT is never gonna be like the last vision, the last perception of everything. It's always going to be the mirror, the reflection of the person that created the conversation, the prompt, or whatever. So just be aware of that. So when I share that, you are gonna see that it's filtered by my perspective, by my experience, by the way I think and see life. And if you resonate, that's amazing, because that's the magic that I find in ChatGPT, and that we are able to experience now. That anyway, I'm getting too distracted with the ChatGPT story. So I was sharing that I was having these visions of the things that I want to, that I'm creating already in my life, the feelings and the experiences that I want to create in my life. And in order to do that, I started feeling that I needed to move from Florida, that I needed to come back to California, and San Francisco wasn't in my plan. And then I ended up coming here, and I'm super grateful. It's one of those funny things. I'm grateful. I'm in the middle of a lot of really intense experiences, but I'm super grateful, and I'm going to explain why. What I'm experiencing, and I'm sure you might relate with this experience too, is that life has this way with me of putting me many times in my life in places I was, and it's crazy how it feels almost like it's the same streets, almost like at the same time, like very similar situations. And the energy I get in those moments is that it was important for me to come back to these moments to connect with the growth, with how much I have changed, with the value I have created in the many things that I have done during the time, from the first time I was there to the new, how do you say that, to the moment I'm coming back to that place, or to that dynamic. So that's a lot. Every single day I'm being presented with situations like that, which is a little mind-blowing, because it's very graphic, like in the way that I'm describing, like almost the same street, almost the same person, almost with same characteristics, like I've been meeting up with people, and I've been just interacting with friends, new friends, and things like that. And it's almost like mind-blowing how similar things are, and the feeling always is. And one other interesting thing, just to I kind of want to bring you guys into my experience. So one of the places I'm staying with a wonderful friend that I love so much. She lives in a neighborhood in San Francisco, which is, it's funny to see this. So it's a neighborhood, it's called Twin Peaks. It is we can say that it's a mountain in the city. So I am a very active person. I love being outside, and I've been enjoying so much going to the top of Twin Peaks because the view, it's a viewpoint of the city, and it's, I'm sure you relate with the feeling when we are in these places. It just gives you a lot of perspective, right? So that's exactly what I'm experiencing this time, not knowing that this is what I needed, because I was like, I had this whole vision of coming to California to do all these things, da 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 da. But now I wouldn't change everything that I am experiencing, even though it's so, I'm grieving like a lot of things right now, and I wish things would feel softer. To be honest, sometimes I'm like, God, when is this gonna end? When this agony and all these feelings are gonna end? I've been fighting the grieving and the intensity of the emotions, but I am sure that all these visions and all these feelings I desire and I was feeling I wanted, or more than wanted, like when I was in Florida, I was just like, yeah, having very vivid images of these things that I desire in my life. And what I'm trying to say is, like, instead of going from Florida to start experiencing these things, I can see so clearly how it was so important to experience what I'm experiencing right now. So that's your intuition. And we can say now that, and I'm sure you have felt something similar to what I'm going to describe, especially if you are this far in this video, if you are following my channel, if you have been watching my videos, if you live life following your intuition. We walk life in soul territory. So we can say that my soul needed to be here. My soul needed to experience the things that I am experiencing in order to go to the other places I desire and I authentically have envisioned. So yes, I wanted to share all that story because a lot of the times following our intuition, living life from this soulful place, it is painful. And the more we force it to, the more we resist it, because that's a lot of what I've been doing. The more we resist it, the more we waste time, or the more we just don't experience the full spectrum of life. Like I just can feel right now that going through all these emotions and allowing myself to grieve, well, maybe I can describe a little bit of what I'm grieving. What I'm grieving is that, let's say when I was in Florida, I kind of got into this new identity, into this new life, this new version of myself, and I kind of forgot about what I'm like, parts of myself that I'm meeting now. And it is super beautiful, and maybe I can record more videos talking about this deeper when I process a little more. But there's a lot of beauty in meeting those old versions of ourselves that we've maybe forgot about them. God, it's like my heart, maybe my heart is the one that is speaking right now, like meeting those older versions of myself that didn't know how to do things, the things that I can do now. So a lot of what's happening for me is that I'm being put in these situations, these dynamics with people, and it's like what I was saying, like it's very similar to what I experienced in the past, but what is happening now is that I have all this awareness. I have all this beautiful relationship with myself. I understand so much about my needs, my desires. I have created and cultivated this presence. So I'm glad I'm remembering this now. So what I am experiencing, some of the beauty that I'm experiencing, is that it's almost like this spontaneous healing that I didn't think I needed. I never thought I needed. And maybe that's how I started the video. I can't remember now, but I'm sure it's making sense for you guys. Eh, so yeah, I am responding from these places that I know older versions of myself wished they could, and they couldn't because they didn't know how to. And it's so expanding, it's painful, it is really painful, because it's like, God, I just wish to not be in these dynamics. Here we go. The soundtrack of San Francisco. Oh God, I'm sorry if I'm being a hater, but it's a lot of things in this place that I do not enjoy. um so yeah, that's been super beautiful. And it's just reinforcement, it's like, I know I'm going through all these experiences, and that is, let's say, like a practice for my heart, for my consciousness, for my subconscious. Like, I'm gonna be put again maybe in experiences, dynamics like what I'm experiencing now, and I'm gonna be, it's gonna be easier for me to know how to respond. So yeah, we can see it as a training that I didn't know I needed. So yeah, grateful for everything that I'm experiencing, even though it is very painful and uncomfortable. There's a lot of discomfort, a lot of very it's demanding a lot of my presence. That's like my nervous system game, like the things that I have done to build my nervous system. Like right now, it's just like a next level of how I can handle and maintain my nervous system. And it's just beautiful. It's just, I feel, I don't know, I think the word that comes to me right now is like, I feel so freaking proud of myself, like how I can manage my nervous system right now and cultivate and maintain that presence with myself, with my integrity, with yeah, the person I want to be. I hope you feel the energy of what I want to share with you guys. If you are going through something similar, I am with you. You're not alone. And I hope you get some good tools in this video. Please feel free to ask anything. If you would like me to go over anything else that maybe I forgot in this video, let me know. I'll be more than happy to share more and support you in in any way I can. For now, wish you the best. Until my next video, peace and love.